So we got to talking about it again, and she said, well, what kind of wheelchair? And I said, well, manual wheelchair is the one I know. So she said, no, that's not the one I'm thinking of. I said, okay, then let me ask you, what type of wheelchair should I be using? And she said, power wheelchair. And she said power wheelchair because, my muscles get into a lot of pain and movement is very difficult. So she said a power wheelchair. And I could see you using the power wheelchair when you're in a lot of pain or you need to go do something and you just can't move. Power wheelchair, so when you go out, mainly when you go out, that you're able to do that. And so I could see you, using the power wheelchair for when you go out. It saves you energy. It reduces pain, so you have more time to do the things you need to do. And I was like, oh, well, that's possible. I just don't know. So she spent 10 minutes every session to talk about the wheelchair. So I would kind of get used to it. It was crazy. So for those people who just say, no, I'm not going to use a wheelchair because I don't know what other people are going to think of me, and this is just stupid. For those people out there who refuse, all I can say is, from what I've learned, is that a wheelchair is okay. I had to get used to those moments where people who knew me, would get used to seeing me in the wheelchair and to ask me questions or not ask me at all, just be puzzled. But it really gave me independence, even though I had those thoughts of, God, a wheelchair at age 40, whatever I was at the time. No, I was older, I think in my 50s. But it gave me freedom. It gave me the possibility to do the things I needed to do, even though I was in pain or I felt like I couldn't move right. So it's given me that. So what the heck? So why not? So, but there are people out there that I know that just really struggle with the idea, I'm not going to use a wheelchair. People are going to make fun of me. They're going to be questioning me, and this is not for me. And the questioning becomes, how many times are you going to fall? How many times are you going to injure yourself? How many times are you going to be excluded from an event? How many times are you going to really neglect yourself from doing XYZ? You as a person, as I've said this many times, you as a person is not going to change. Your funniness, your seriousness, your whoever you are, that's not going to change. It really isn't. The wheelchair is just going to be a tool that you add on to your arsenal to be able to function. And there's my wheelchair sitting there. It's not doing anything to me. So I'll show it to you. Where'd it go? There it is. So, I've never named my wheelchair. I know some people do. I just call it my spacecraft, my spaceship, my spaceship. And it helps me get around. That's it. So, for you, I think it's going to be important if you're shocked, if you're in your 20s, if you're in your teens, if you're in your 50s, 60s, and the therapist brought up, let's think about a wheelchair. It really means that. Just think about it and think about the things that it can do for you rather than the things that it won't do for you or the negative things that you think in your head it's going to do for you. Like exclude family or negative questions, or people are just not going to come around anymore. Let people think what they're going to think and let people do whatever they're going to do. The best thing is your health. Very much so. So I will leave this reflection, this thought about, your stress with the wheelchair. I say to you, don't stress. Just think about it. And more so, test it. See how it feels. See what it can do for you. And then come back to the therapist and say, all right, let's try it out. So those are my thoughts for today. I'm hoping that you have a very good week and you spend some time thinking about the use of your wheelchair to keep you safe, to keep you healthy, and to keep you happy. All right. So, and there's one thing before I leave. To request that you subscribe if you find this video helpful, if you find other videos on my channel helpful, and that you like the video. Anytime you like a video, it helps spread it around the YouTube world, and it certainly would help me in my channel. So I want to thank you so much for coming, for listening to this reflection. And if you haven't been to my channel before, I follow a schedule. I do videos for caregivers on Mondays. On Wednesdays, I do a reflection. And on Fridays, I do Wheelchair Tech Fridays, which I talk about technology, some piece of technology regarding wheelchairs. And once in a while, I'll insert, something different with resources, with ideas in regards to wheelchair use, etc. So welcome to the channel, and I hope to see you very soon.